Ladies and gentlemen, Manchester United start their season off with a defeat at Old Trafford. Final score, United 0, Arsenal 1. And Man United fans, this is a tough one to take because losing against these men is extremely frustrating because all they do is this online. And we all watched the game. Man United were by far the better team. By far the better team. But again, to lose against these guys is tough. And sometimes in football, the best team doesn't always win. You know, Arsenal fans will probably tell you the same when it comes to the PSG game last season in the Champions League, but hey ho, it is what it is. I'm probably going to dissect this video in two parts, and I'll talk about United first, what I liked, what I didn't like, and I'll talk about Arsenal as well, stuff that was good, stuff that was bad. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And yeah, listen, let's get into this game. First things first, there's two stats that I want to point out. The first one being, despite Man United playing well today and being the better team, when the stat comes out about Amorim losing his 15th game in 28 Premier League games, it's not a good look. It's really not a good look. In the grand scheme of things, when you look at that number, that figure, it's not good, man. It's not good. However, this is the first time since 2011, apparently. Hold on, let me read the stat to be correct completely, right? Manchester United have recorded 20 plus shots in a single Premier League game against Arsenal for the first time since their 8-2 win in August 2011, which was 25 shots at the time. They were still unable to find a breakthrough. That in itself is crazy. And I was watching the game and thinking, hold on a minute, when's the last time I've seen Man United take this many shots? I think in the first half we had like 10 against 5. And then in the second half we had like 12 against 4. So already that proves that in the front line there's been some improvement. Last season we had Rashford, Højlund, Antony, Garnacho playing across the front three. All of a sudden that attack has been upgraded. Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko came on later on as well, and Ahmad. And this is where I think I'll start the analysis when it comes to Man United. I was extremely surprised with that performance. Extremely surprised because when the starting lineup was announced, I wasn't happy with it. And, you know, even though some of them did quite well, I would still not start some of these guys in the next game against Fulham away. I'll be honest with you. I think we could have started with Sesko. It wouldn't have hurt a soul if we did that, because when Mount started in that number 9 position, and I don't know if it was a false 9, and I just don't know. We kept spamming in crosses for someone who's not a natural number 9, and we kept spamming in crosses for someone whose natural way of thinking is not, let me make sure I'm in the box at that place at the right time. Because I'll give you one example, because there was countless of them. We go on a counter, Mbeumo's got the ball. He's waiting for Dalot to do the overlap. In the end, it turned out to be offside. But anyway, Dalot does the overlap. He gets the ball from Mbeumo. And his natural first instinct is, all right, cool, let me just fizz it in. He does fizz it in. He actually does a cutback. And there's nobody there. There's nobody there. Whether it's the penalty spot. Actually, there was no one inside the box. No one. Not Mount, not Mbeumo, not Cunha. And I'm not blaming Cunha and Mbeumo here, but Mount playing in that forward position, he should have been the one in there. But because he's not a natural striker and he's not a natural number 9, this is what you get. And this is where my criticism comes in for Amorim. You live and die by your decisions. I think the subs in the second half kind of killed us a little bit. Personally, I could have done without Sesko coming on. But, you know, you have to do it, innit? You get a new player in. If you don't start him, if you don't play him in the first game, people are going to do this in the media. Well, they bought this guy for such and such amount of money. He didn't even play. And on top of that, on the other side, Gyökeres did start the game for Arsenal. And I just felt like for story purposes, he came onto the game. But really and truly, I could have done with Mason Mount being taken out of the game and someone else being put in the number 10 role, in the number 9 role, and then maybe putting Ahmad in that one of the 10s positions. But to be fair, when Ahmad came on in that wing back position, he was absolutely excellent. Again, another sub, in my opinion, that shouldn't have happened because Ahmad should have started the game. So Amorim, you live and die by your decisions. That's all I'm going to say about it. I thought we done extremely well in the first half. Listen, I'll talk about Arsenal in a minute, but the fact that we limited them to throw-ins towards the first part of the first half and corners tells you everything you need to know. But we'll talk about that in a minute when it comes to Arsenal. We have to start in the back line. Bayindir. This is why we need a new goalkeeper, in my opinion. We need to go into the market and get a goalkeeper because at first glance, when I watched that goal that Arsenal scored, I was like, maybe there was a push there from Saliba onto Bayindir. But then the more they kept replaying it, I was like, you know what? It is actually a legit goal. Bayindir just needs to be stronger and he needs to be, excuse my language, but he needs to be a bastard and just command his box. Goalkeepers are crazy. You need to be crazy as a goalkeeper. You can't be soft. You need to be a lunatic. You need to come out and yes, maybe punch the ball, but then punch someone in the face along the way as well. Because you're a goalkeeper. You need to command your box. And it pains me to say, Onana wouldn't have done better. He wouldn't. So you need to go into the market and find someone that's going to be able to command his box. Doesn't matter who's around you, who's pushing you, you get up and you command your box. Let's get into the defense, the back three. Luke Shaw. I don't for the life of me understand how Luke Shaw still starts games for Manchester United in 2025. I really don't. Like, I'm saying this in the most polite way possible. I genuinely do not understand how he's still starting games in 2025 for Man United. That's what I'm going to say about it. It doesn't mean that he had an awful game, but he didn't have an amazing game either. It was just in between. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Matthijs de Ligt. When I put Matthijs de Ligt in my combined 11 over Saliba, and I put him with Gabriel, people thought that was crazy. This is why. Matthijs de Ligt was absolutely outstanding today. He did not give Gyökeres a sniff. He was wrestling with him, battling with him, making sure that even if he does take the first touch, the second touch, boom, clatter into him, ball gone. Gyökeres had the hardest time of his life against the central defender. Welcome to the Premier League, by the way, my friend. Matthijs de Ligt was immense. Honestly, yeah, I do not want to exaggerate things, but I think every aerial duel he won. Every long ball that was played into Gyökeres, he headed it away. If not, he made sure he got rid of Gyökeres and then he headed it away. De Ligt was absolutely fantastic in defense today. Some of the blocks that he was making in the second half, I think Saka had a chance where, Odegaard drifted towards the inside of the pitch, kind of scooped a little pass in between two Man United defenders. Saka takes a shot. It was a really good shot. Hits it perfectly. De Ligt is there to block it. Like, De Ligt for me, hey, he's captain material. I'm not even going to lie to you. He is captain material. Okay, cool. Leny Yoro, he's just carrying on his form from, the back end of last season. It's just a shame that last season he started with that injury. But I thought, again, another one who was so comfortable on the ball. Like, getting the ball on the right-hand side, being the right centre-back and just driving out with ease. Absolutely fantastic. Like, honestly, this performance today was actually good, people. It was actually good. Like, it wasn't awful, it wasn't perfect, but it was actually good. Especially with what we've been seeing last season, this was actually okay. This was good. So we just need to build on that. Moving into midfield, right? And this is where my problem is. This season, very quickly, people are going to realise that one guy in midfield is going to be the problem. And that's Bruno Fernandes. And I'm not saying that he's a bad player. I'm not saying that today he was awful, but he wasn't amazing either. But in this system, he doesn't fit in it. To get the best out of Bruno, you need to play in a 4. But because we don't play a 4, it just looks like you're trying to shoehorn him into different positions to make sure that somehow you get the best out of him or you see a little bit of quality moments that he has. But it's not going to work. And unfortunately, until Ruben sees it with his own eyes, Bruno is going to keep being ineffective in the squad. Because today, Mbeumo, Dorgu, Ahmad, Euro, Cunha, all of them were better than Bruno today. All of them. All of them. So that needs to be sorted out, honestly. I don't know what Manchester United plan to do for the rest of the summer. Transfer window is open till the 1st of September. We're the 17th of August today. Go into the market and get things sorted out. Goalkeeper, midfielder. These two need to get sorted out. Patrick Dorgu, excellent performance today. Excellent performance. I just love how we made that defence work today, that Arsenal defence. Because every time Man United had the ball, it was straight, pew, down to Mbeumo, pew, down to Dorgu, and they were struggling with that. They were struggling, Arsenal. They didn't know who to pick up. They didn't. And I just wish if in the first half, or if we started the game with Ahmad, do you know how much threat we could have had on the right-hand side with Ahmad and Mbeumo? That could have been lethal. Absolutely lethal, man. So it's a bit of a shame that Amorim didn't see that. But again, Amorim, you live and die by these decisions. You do. Cunha and Mbeumo. Finally, we have some footballers at the club. These two were absolutely outstanding today. Mbeumo, a bit unlucky with some of the chances that he had, put himself into good positions to get the shot off, but hesitated in the last moment. Other than that, I thought he was excellent. Physically, looks comfortable. Technically, looks comfortable. It's just that final ball that, needs to be worked on. He does the same next week against Fulham. I'm sure he scores. Matheus Cunha. Lord, I just want to thank you because you brought footballers to my club again. Thank you so much. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Cunha was so good today. Like that solo run in the first half, I mean, if that had been crowned with a goal, listen, we're talking about goal of the season already. Second half, the way he spun away from Ben White and then just drove with the ball and it just drove and drove and drove. I need to see more of that. This is why we got him. This is exactly why we got him. And this is why I said we need more ball carriers in our team. Because if Cunha can do that, if Mbeumo can do that, and with speed as well, it's hard to catch them. You've seen it for yourself today. You've seen it for yourself. Honestly, man, that was outstanding. Mason Mount, I wasn't happy with that performance. I wasn't happy with that. I would have preferred someone else playing in that 9 position, either Mbeumo or Cunha, and then have someone like Ahmad, for example, play as a right wing back and then have Dalot on the bench. But today really proved that, the midfield needs to get sorted out. The goalkeeper position, needs to get sorted out as well. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble, people. I'm telling you. But Cunha, Mbeumo, Dorgu, De Ligt, Ahmad, these 5 have shown that there is something there. There's something there. You just need to, pick the right players, put them in good positions where they're going to be a threat. And I think United could have a decent season. Definitely a decent season. So, boy, like I said, sometimes the best team doesn't always win, but it is what it is, A couple of questionable decisions by the referee. I do think about the Cunha one where, he was just swept away from under the carpet. His feet literally got swept away by Saliba. I don't know. Just have a look at the screen at least. Referee, the first half, that incident with David Raya. Again, referee, at least have a look at the screen. I don't know. But I think we made that defense work. Which brings me to the Arsenal part of this video. First things first, obviously they won, so congrats. But I can't lie, Arsenal fans, that's a hard watch for you guys. Because I know a lot of my friends that support Arsenal, they're going to be happy with this win, but they're also going to be honest and say, this was a dreadful watch. Dreadful watch. To see this talented squad, Saka, Odegaard, Zubimendi, Declan Rice, to see this talented squad be reduced to throw-ins and corners, that is so criminal. I'm not even going to lie to you. I have to be honest, people. That is so criminal. I'm not an XG guy. I don't look at XG, and I probably never will after this. But it just happened to come up on my TL. 0.29 XG with these type of players from open play. Wow. And okay, fair enough. This might have been the case just because they played Man United. But if this keeps happening for Arsenal, I'm worried, you know. As a neutral fan, I'm worried because you can't corner and throw in yourself to a title. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You guys thought it was going to happen last season. It didn't. If it didn't happen last season, it's not going to happen this season. You know, I thought Arsenal's best player today. Who am I going to pick? I'd probably say I'm struggling between Saliba and Gabriel, you know. I thought them two were really, really solid, especially towards the end when United were pushing, you know, trying to get that equaliser. I thought some of the blocks that Saliba and Gabriel were putting in were absolutely exquisite, like putting their bodies on the line, putting their feet between the line, putting their feet on the line, their legs, and blocking shots with all parts of their bodies. Like, you have to have defenders willing to do that. The same way I praised De Ligt for doing that, you know. So I would probably say that centre-back partnership, Saliba and Gabriel, definitely Arsenal's best player on the pitch today. All the other ones, I mean, Arsenal need to take a deep look at some of them. The midfield was okay. Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard, I thought that looked kind of compatible. You know, Zubimendi, I did think that sometimes you got bullied off the ball a bit too quickly, a bit too easily. Welcome to the Premier League, my friend. Odegaard, in spells, you know, sometimes that final pass just wasn't there. The amount of times Arsenal in the first half went on a counter, went on the break, and then that final pass was just a sloppy one, or it's a ball over the top that doesn't get to Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres, oh my God, we need to talk about him. That is not a debut to remember. Manhandled by De Ligt today. De Ligt took care of him like he weren't even there. 60 minutes, subbed off. And Arsenal fans, I think you don't know who you're dealing with when it comes to your manager, because I'll tell you something for free right now. Because obviously you got in Madueke and you got in Gyökeres. Madueke started on the bench today. Martinelli started, who I think wasn't exceptional either. He's been poor for like 2 years now. 2.5, almost. When it comes to all important games, obviously today Gyökeres started. But my belief is, the way I've seen Arteta coach in recent years, if an all-important game was to happen, I think he'll choose Havertz over Gyökeres, and I think he'll choose Martinelli over Madueke. A lot of people thought that Madueke was coming to start. I don't think that's the case. I think Gyökeres can be a starter here and there, but I think if the choice has to be made between Gyökeres and Havertz, I think Arteta's going to choose what he likes and what he's been knowing and been doing for the past 3 years, which is Havertz. Well, 2. Is it 2 or 3? Anyway, you guys tell me in the comments. So, I don't know. Obviously, Arsenal got the win today, but some of the gameplay is concerning. Some of the gameplay is extremely concerning because, again, a team like Arsenal should not be limited to 0.29 XG. Only being a threat on corners and throw-ins. That is so criminal. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean. Like, this is an extremely talented squad. Over $1 billion spent. And the only threat is coming from corners and throw-ins. Like, I don't think you guys deep how crazy this is. This is absolutely nuts. So, let's see what happens for Arsenal next, man. Looking at their games in the Premier League, Arsenal are playing Leeds at home next, and Manchester United are going away to play against Fulham. So, yeah, that's all I had to say, people. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Arsenal fans, United fans, am I right? Am I wrong? What are your thoughts on this game, and what do you think this game was like? Let me know in the comment section below. The season has started. The season is well and truly underway. Shout out to everyone always tuning in to the content and showing love and support. And yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I shall see you very soon, people. Peace.